Alrighty, folks. So we're going to be in John chapter 18. We're going to read here in a second. But we're going to skim. We're actually going to be in Matthew as well. And why? Because we're looking at Peter. We're going to be looking at Peter, but you can't look at this instance of Peter without looking at what went on with Judas. Because this is a parallel story in my mind. So we're going to read, we're going to unpack it, but keep Judas in mind here as we go to John chapter 18, verse, we're going to start in verse 15. On your mark, get set, here we go. Simon Peter followed Jesus, and so did another disciple. Since that disciple was known to the high priest, he entered with Jesus into the courtyard of the high priest, but Peter stood outside at the door. So the other disciple, who was known to the high priest, went out and spoke to the servant girl who kept watch at the door and brought Peter in. The servant girl at the door said to Peter, "You also are not one of this man's disciples, are you?" He said, "I am not." Now, the servants and officers had made a charcoal fire because it was cold, and they were standing and warming themselves. But Peter also was with them, standing and warming himself. The high priest questioned Jesus about his disciple and his disciples, plural, and his teaching. Jesus answered them, "I have spoken openly to the world. I have always taught in synagogues and in the temple where all Jews come together, and I have said nothing in secret. Why do you ask me? Ask those who have heard me what I said to them. They know what I said." When he had said these things, one of the officers standing by Jesus struck with his hand, saying, "Is that how you answer the high priest?" Jesus answered him, "If what I said is wrong, bear witness about the wrong. But what if I said is right? Why do you strike me?" Annas then sent him bound to Caiaphas the high priest. Verse 25. Now Simon Peter was standing and warming himself. So they said to him, "You also are not one of the disciples, are you?" He denied it and said, "I am not." One of the servants of the high priest, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, asked, "Did I not see you in the garden with him?" Peter again denied it. At once a rooster crowed. Now, I'm going to back up because we need to read something else real quick. We're going to skip back to chapter 13. Chapter 13, we're going to now jump to 36 and 38. Keep what I just read in mind, and here we go. 36, this is Peter and Jesus chatting, okay? Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus answered him, "Where am I going? You cannot follow me, but you will follow afterward." Peter said to him, "Lord, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for you." Jesus answered, "Will you lay down your life for me? Truly, truly, I say to you, the rooster will not crow till you have denied me 3 times. Ouch. So you see what's going on here? We had to back up to see Jesus giving literal prophecy prediction on what would happen with Peter, and then it did happen. Now, we see this and we think, wow, how in the world did Peter become such the pillar of the church? Peter was used mightily by God in the foundation of the disciples, and then the apostles, and then the core, the bedrock, the rock of the church. He was most certainly used. How did he go from, "I'm going to tell you in advance, you're going to deny me not once, twice, 3 times denial." You're going to deny me 3 times. And Peter's going, what? You're kidding me. You're kidding me. And yet God uses him as this pillar of the faith. Now, I said Peter and Judas, in this aspect are parallel stories and a very huge cautionary tale. Why? What about Judas? Okay. What do we know about Judas? We know that the Bible is clear that he was an apostle or disciple, bare minimum, right? Bare minimum, he was a disciple. He did miracles. He participated in miracles. We know that because Jesus gave him the power to do so. It's in the Word. Jesus sent them out and they did miracles. They cast out demons, and Judas was a part of that, right? Judas was also a part of Jesus doing all of these amazing things. And standing right there, he did believe that Jesus was Messiah. 100%, I have no doubt in my mind. I do think he thought Jesus was the wrong kind of Messiah that Jesus never intended to be. But Judas, we know that he was also a thief. It said that he used to help himself to what was ever in the money bag. Ouch. Now, we talked a little bit about what his possible motivation may be for betraying Jesus, because we do know that biblically Jesus was betrayed by Judas, right? He was the setup. He was it. He's the one that went to the priest and said, hey, I'll deliver him. Now, what I postulated, you can think what you want to think about this. We won't have to fight. If you think something different. But my thought is he was pushing Jesus to become the Messiah, this military Messiah that they were expecting. And Jesus was trying to communicate to everybody, look, the kingdom I'm setting up is not the kind you think. I am Messiah, but not the way that you had thought. And I think Judas kept trying to push him in that direction. And then when Jesus didn't do what he was trying to get him to do, he kept pushing further and betrayed him. Now, I said that these 2 guys, Peter and Judas, in this part of the story have an interesting parallel, but also an incredibly deep cautionary tale. Now, why? Let's get to it. Let's turn to Matthew. Let's go to Matthew. Because we're going to look at what happened with Judas, right? So Judas betrays Jesus. The whole thing, Judas kiss, Jesus is betrayed. But then when he realizes, oh my goodness, have I made a mistake? That's where we're at. So turn to Judas. Turn to Matthew chapter 27. Matthew chapter 27, okay? We're going to read a little bit more. Here we go. When morning came, this is after Jesus had been betrayed, okay? When morning came, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel against Jesus and put him to death. They bound him and led him away and delivered him over to Pilate, the governor. When Judas, his betrayer, saw that Jesus was condemned, he changed his mind and brought back the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and the elders, saying, I have sinned by betraying innocent blood. They said, what is that to us? See to it yourself. And throwing down the pieces of silver into the temple, he departed. And he went and hanged himself. But the chief priest, taking the pieces of silver, said, it is not lawful for us to put them into the treasury, since it is blood money. So they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field as a burial place for strangers. Therefore, that field has been called the field of blood to this day. All right. Now, so let's unpack this part. All right. So Judas pushing Jesus to be this Messiah, it backfires. He's not supposed to give in. Judas must have thought, I'm going to push him and he's finally going to, ascend to this messiahship. He's going to take control and he's going to fight back and then the revolt is going to happen. Then they're going to push back against Rome and then, yes, off to the races. But it backfired on him. Jesus didn't fight back. He went with them willingly. He could have, with a thought, ended the situation. Remember when Jesus said, I am he? It knocked soldiers over. Soldiers knocked them to the ground. That was a demonstration of power saying, guess what, guys? You're not taking me anywhere. I'm going of my own will. Okay? So now Judas, realizing what he's done, is thinking, oh no, this is bigger than I thought. And he goes, what's he do? He goes to try to make amends. Did you guys ever catch that? Judas, yes, the ultimate bad guy, the betrayer of Jesus, he had remorse. He actually had remorse, plus, not only did he have remorse, he tried to go and make amends. He went to the only place he could think of that offers atonement and forgiveness. Did you hear that? This gets ugly, doesn't it? The ultimate bad guy has remorse and is trying to make amends. He's trying to give the money back. He's trying to get the priests to call everything off. He's trying to get the priests to stop, and he's trying to get forgiveness. Wow. And that's exactly it. BP Devo has jumped ahead again. Spoiler alert. Yes, that's the point. Judas was trying to repent, but he went to the wrong place. He went to the wrong place. This is what I've been saying for years. Judas did have remorse. He did want to make it right. He realized he screwed up, but he did not go to Christ for forgiveness. He went to the church of the day. He went to the cold, empty, plastic, box-checking, legalistic, murdering church. Yeah, that's where he went. Why? That's what he was taught to do. That's what he believed was right. I'm going to go make amends. I'm going to go pay. He went to the building and plastic, lifeless, adhering to atonement that would never come, because atonement comes through Christ. That's the difference. That's the difference. Peter, when you really think about it, Peter betrayed Jesus too, didn't he? I mean, he didn't sell him out, but think about the parallels here, okay? Peter was told in advance, you're going to betray me. Judas wasn't. Judas was not. Judas was pushing Jesus to try to be the Messiah that he thought he should be. Was he greedy? Was he a jerk? Was he a thief? Yes. I'm not erasing those things, but I'm just saying that Judas, in advance, didn't know. Peter, in advance, did know. Now, Judas only betrayed Jesus once. Yes, it's horrible. I'm not trying to erase that. Peter did it 3 times, knowing in advance. Then Judas did have remorse, but he went to the church for forgiveness instead of Christ. How different would history be? Just go with me. I know that you guys are going to be all on fire typing in comments here in a sec. How different would it be if Judas went to Jesus and said, "I'm sorry," instead of the priests? How different would it have been? That's just a thought to chew on, right? But going back to Peter, he made amends with Christ. And in that, he had true forgiveness. Not forgiveness that some building or some person says you have. He got forgiveness from the author of forgiveness. Peter got forgiven by the sacrificial lamb himself. Judas is a picture, ladies and gentlemen, of people who maybe go their whole lives and they think that they're going to get mercy and grace from a building or a human. And that's so tragic, people. That is so beyond tragic, because I'm here to tell you, like, I can tell you that I believe that Jesus has forgiven you if you'll receive the forgiveness that he's offered. And I believe that 100%. But the business that happens between you and Jesus is between you and Jesus. It has nothing to do with me. Zero. Nada. If I told you, and I don't even feel comfortable saying this, but I'm going to say it to make an example. If I told you I give you forgiveness, I'm a liar, because I don't have the power to do that. No human does. Only Christ. Now, can I say, I believe Jesus is forgiving you if you'll receive it? 100% yes, true. But please hear this. Forgiveness doesn't come from a building. It doesn't come from humans. When you're talking spiritual forgiveness, okay? Like, I can forgive you if you've wronged me. But I'm saying that if I'm looking for forgiveness from God, I can't go to a human to get it. Can I talk to a human and maybe work things out in my mind and understand better how to pray? Sure, absolutely. But if any human tells you, I forgive you, or I'm giving you forgiveness, or I have the authority to forgive, that's a lie. They don't. Show me in the Word. Not, hey, this is a sacred tradition, or this is what we do. No, show me in the Word. Put up or shut up. That's how it is, folks. And I'm kind of getting tired of people who will say, well, this is just what we do. Please base your actions in the Word. If it's not, they're lying. They're lying. The big difference, guys, between Peter and Judas is exactly what we need to hear today, because I need forgiveness from Christ alone. Not somebody at a building somewhere said I have forgiveness and therefore I have it. No. It's because of what he's done. Not because they gave me an A-OK, or, hey, go say these prayers and then you're good. I know Krista loves this. Say these prayers and we'll call it good. She hates that phrase. I love you, honey. She's probably going to bang the walls when she hears me saying that. Yep. Folks, the relationship that you have, the eternal relationship that you have, needs to be with Christ. Yes, I'm glad we're here, but I don't have the power to give you anything other than communication. The business you need to do is between you and God. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me on that? I hope so. Because that's the Judas predicament. That's the problem with Judas. L. Faber's saying, a Catholic priest told me I was forgiven. Well, does he have the power to do that? Does he have the power to do that? He doesn't. But Christ does. Christ does. So, before we go, I want to pray, but I want to tell you about, that hard rock song that you guys were asking about. I've got some news for you. Oh, have I got news for you. So stick tight. Don't leave. We're going to pray.